Hey, this is Manny with Not Waiting to Live. I'm a former Mercedes-Benz car salesman, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to see what a dealer paid for a car. So we're going to look at both free and paid methods to come up with a best estimate of what that dealer paid. Because to be candid, there's no way to tell exactly what a dealer paid for a car. And even if they told you, or they showed you a piece of paper with a dealer invoice number and said that's what they paid, you shouldn't believe them anyways. But the good news is there is solid free information and some paid information. Each of these services has a unique advantage. I'll walk you through the results quickly because I want to cut straight to the point with this video. And the way that you can say thank you, just watch to the end. The YouTube algorithm prefers watch time. Leave a comment if you can. That helps me out as well to get my channel more exposure. And if you do subscribe, if you click that little bell, that'll give you a notification for the next time that I make a video. But let's dive right into the screen grab. So we'll start off with used cars, and there's really only a few ways that a dealer acquires a used car, either through a trade-in or an auction that they acquired it at, or they've either traded it or sold it to another dealership. The preferred method is taking a great car on trade, but dealerships can't always do that. Either they're too small to take in quality cars on trade, or they just can't afford to do that. So they might go to the auction and see what's available there. We'll just walk you through the subtle differences in this video between the wholesale price, which is that auction price, and the trade-in value. For the free resources, you're pretty much gonna be limited to a best guess at trade-in value. So a site like Kelley Blue Book is a good way to take a stab at that. I like to use Kelley Blue Book. I'm going to assume you're pretty tech intuitive. We're going to skip forward, but you follow the mouse here, go to My Car Value, follow the prompts with your year, make, mileage, equipment, condition. The biggest thing to understand about Kelley Blue Book, and a little trick that these dealers might try and pull on you, make sure you are aware of what condition you're assuming the car is in. The majority of cars, more than 50%, are in good condition. But a dealer might, when you're trading in the car, they might tell you have a car in poor condition or fair condition, and they might try to sell you a car and say, well, here's the Kelley Blue Book with excellent condition. That could be thousands of dollars in difference in price, so be aware of that when you're looking at this information. But this is a realistic expectation for what trade-in value is. That's only trade-in value. There's not really a way to see wholesale value here. If we go to a site and a service like Black Book, which I use, it's a paid service. This is not a sponsored ad. I just use them to look up wholesale information and recent sale prices for cars. It's in the ballpark of $80 a month. You can see here on their site, it's pretty intuitive. You can see here some of the cars that I looked up recently. Just by selecting the car, either through the VIN number, year, make, model, you can assume a mileage condition, and you can see a range of average wholesale prices that specific vehicle, even to the VIN number, is getting. It's pretty good. It's not perfect, right? So you'll see here, based on different conditions of the vehicle, an average condition of wholesale is $11,000. It has an estimate for trade-in value as well. Similar trade-in value as wholesale at this point in time. When you look, one other item that's good about their site, relative to zip codes, you can see a radius around a city and say, okay, what are these vehicles listed for in that area? How long have they been on the lot? How many times have they changed the price? What's the link to that specific dealer's ad? These are all great resources and the information, and then you can also go by sold price to give you an idea of what the bottom selling prices might be. Usually the cars that are at the lowest price over the longest period of time are indicative of what a wholesale price might be for that car. This information is not perfect, and I could go into more detail about where it lacks, and one of the biggest issues is matching equipment, especially when you start adding in extra equipment, premium features, heated seats, moonroof, special editions. That type of stuff is really hard to pick out of this information. So It's not perfect, but this is a resource to give you an idea of what people are paying at auction. Now, there's other videos on YouTube where people mention reconditioning costs, auction fees, inspection fees. Yes, all of those things are added costs. When a dealer takes in an item on trade or purchases it at an auction, there's going to be additional money that's going to have to go into that vehicle. So this is not a perfect guess of what they've paid, but get you in the ballpark. So you want to make sure you're not $5,000 off. And I have other videos where I talk about how to make an initial offer. Not going to talk about that here, but this just gives you a free and paid resource to look and get a guess at what a dealer's paid for a used car. Now let's look over at the new cars, because there's a few different advantages to different services here. On the new car side, you can use Kelley Blue Book. It works pretty much the same intuitive way. Select the car and you can see a range of prices. But the way these dealer buys a car from a manufacturer, yes, there's a dealer invoice, but you have no idea what they paid for that car, because it's going to vary by month and by region based on the incentives. Not only the dealer incentives, but the manufacturer incentives and the regional dealer incentives that they're getting for how many units they've sold in a given quarter, a given year, based on their region. You don't know what they're being compensated on. It's really a myth to say that you know what a dealer paid when you look at dealer invoice minus holdback. Just look at a place to start is to say, what's the invoice? I have a separate video where I cover looking at what to offer, but I don't think Kelley Blue Book is the best resource for looking at the new price. I think you should use a site like Edmunds. So I do prefer Edmunds for this type of information. I've already went ahead and preloaded an example here for you. So on the Kelley Blue Book that we just looked at, they showed an invoice price of $24,810, and I matched that exact car on Edmunds. What Kelley Blue Book shows you for a fair purchase price is in this $24,200 to $26,800 range. Well, Edmunds says they suggest a price of $23,100. Why is it so different for the exact same car with the exact same invoice price? Well, Edmunds has taken the time to incorporate some information on the incentives and the rebates. So that is critical. That's probably the biggest factor that plays into new car pricing at any given point in time. Doesn't matter what your neighbor paid last week, if last week was last month. Let's look at the incentives. What's going on right now? So Edmunds gives you better information on invoicing, but it's not the best. In order to get even better information than that, you need to look at a paid resource like Auto News. So Automotive News, in order to get access to their rebate information, you're going to have to pay an annual subscription of over a couple $100. But what that's going to enable you to see is specific dealer incentives for an area. And this information is going to be zip code, make, model, trim specific. So you're going to be able to say, hey, I'm looking at an Audi A4 that's new this year. What kind of incentives are available to you? This is going to be line level specific detail. You're going to see here, they give you the information of, wow, there's a family and friends rebate of $4,000. Or maybe let's see if you qualify, if you're an actual Audi employee yourself, there's a $6,000 rebate. But that, if you use that auto employee dealer rebate, that actually cancels out the currently active seasonal rebate of $1,000. What if you use the family and friends though? Then you can use the active rebate. There's all kinds of nuance that you're not going to be able to see at a freemium level. You have to get through to the paid level, and you can see very specific rebate information. You know, a couple times I've gotten questions from people in military programs trying to get a military rebate, and they felt that they were getting potentially ripped off by the dealer, that maybe they weren't declaring or saying that they didn't qualify for a military rebate and were, and maybe the dealer was keeping the cash. This would be a tool to figure out what rebates were actually you were actually eligible for and how much money that dealer is getting back. Because when a dealer gets a rebate dollar, that's money in their pocket. If they sell you a car for $30,000, but they got $5,000 in rebates, they actually sold it to you for $35,000. So I share this information with you to give you an educated best guess of what a dealer's paying. It's not the best. If you want to see more information about how to negotiate the best vehicle price, I have everything you need to do it yourself on this channel. Again, thank you for watching. If you could leave a comment, I'd appreciate it. I'm looking to grow this channel, get more exposure, and I need the help of the YouTube algorithm and you to get recognized. So as always, thanks for your time. Stay tuned for the next video.